My name is Tristan Oliver and I'm a cinematographer. I specialize in stop frame animation and I have shot some movies that you may have seen, Chicken Run, Fantastic Mr Fox and most recently ParaNorman. I started in quite an unconventional way. My parents worked in the theatre and made costumes, theatrical costumes for the actors. And I was very much brought up in the theatre tradition, but at the same time I was very scientific and I wanted to become a doctor. So I took all my examinations at school to go to medical school and I got a place at medical school. But then when I was about 17, 18, I decided I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do something different. So I went to university and instead of doing medicine, I did drama, which is completely different. And in my second year doing drama, I was offered the opportunity to do a film option. So I started to get into the film thing, and I was absolutely captivated by the cameras. And I think my background in physics and that kind of thing, really fed into that and was very useful for me. And even now, I think it's very important to have a strong technical understanding of what the camera is doing, what the lenses are doing, and until recently what the film stock was doing. Now it's all digital, so it's slightly different. But to be able to feed that into the creative process, I think is very important. So I then left university and then I went to film school. And when I was at film school, I shot a movie that won a competition, a student film competition in the UK. And the prize was to go to the Moscow Film School. So I went to the Moscow Film School just for 2 or 3 months. And when I came back, I rang up the guys on the judging panel for the competition and I said, hey, give me a job. You gave me a prize and I give me a job. So one of them said, I didn't even vote for you, go away. And a couple of them said, okay, yeah, you can have a job. So I started focus pulling. And focus pulling is very difficult. It's a very difficult job and I was very bad at it. And being bad at it is the best thing you can be if you want to be a cinematographer, because otherwise you just spend your whole life as a focus puller, because a good focus puller is like gold dust. Everyone wants them, but I was a bad focus puller, so I was able then to move into lighting. So I started shooting pop videos and short dramas and doing a lot of work for free, a huge amount of work for free, maybe for like 18 months, nearly 2 years, just crewing everything, sound, lighting, just getting my face around, getting myself known. And then I was shooting some pop promos one day and I rang up Aardman Animations because I knew a couple of guys there and I said, I need to borrow some lights. Can I borrow some lights? And they said, yeah, sure, borrow some lights. What are you doing next week? And I said, well, I'm not doing anything next week. And they said, well, we're shooting this commercial. Do you want to come and shoot this commercial for us? And then there were only 4 of them at Aardman in those days. It was like a little tiny shed in the middle of nowhere. So I went along and they let me shoot this commercial on 35mm film for the TV, which was fantastic. And I was 25 years old. So it was fabulous. And then I just carried on getting work from those guys, and I really started to get into the stop frame thing, and I really enjoyed it because the level of detail and the creativity, it was very much like what my parents used to do, just sitting there sewing costumes and details and that kind of thing. And I really love that handcrafted feel that you get because everything is created for the camera. So then in 1992, we got this opportunity to shoot this short movie called The Wrong Trousers, and The Wrong Trousers did incredibly well, and Aardman went global with it, and the rest is history really. And then we went on and we shot Chicken Run, and then we made Wallace and Gromit Curse of the Wererabbit, and they got very big. But I'd always been freelance with them. Can you hear what I'm saying? I'd always been freelance for them, so then the opportunity came up to do Fantastic Mr Fox, and I went and shot that, and that was a very different kind of thing, but it was great to be out in a bigger world, working with a bigger group of people, different people, working in a different way. At Aardman it was all about very high quality, very high finish on everything, and Fox was a bit more kind of let's scramble, let's do it. You know, it doesn't matter. It's just kind of, it's a bit rougher, which was difficult for me to get used to, but I persevered and I managed to get the, you know, the quality in there. And then I ended up at Laika shooting ParaNorman, which was a whole different ball game. Again, very high quality, very precise, very accurate set building and animating, and also stereoscopic, which is fantastic. My first opportunity to shoot 3D stuff, so that was really great. But so those 4 movies, that's taken like 14 years from the beginning of Chicken Run to the end of ParaNorman. So obviously I don't do that all the time. So the rest of the time I do commercials, and I also shoot live action TV and stuff like that. I think my advice to anyone who wants to get into the business, and don't get me wrong, it's incredibly hard and I have been incredibly lucky, but a friend of mine once said, it's funny that the harder I work, the luckier I get. And I really believe in that, you know, all that working for free, that was really useful. And you should never worry about working for free. If someone says to you, do you want to come out on Saturday and shoot a movie with me? Just go and do it. If someone says, do you want to pick up a camera and come and film this riot or film this pop concert off, just do it, you know, do it. Because the longer you have your eye to the camera, the better you will get. And people will say, hey, that's that guy, he's great, he did that for free. Let's give him some money this time, you know. And on it goes. But it takes a long time and it is hard work. And the technical knowledge really does help. Knowing how those cameras work and knowing what those lenses do is really important. So you can't just rely on being arty. You've got to have the technique as well.